Hey guys, Thinking here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so you've probably seen the news by now, but of course we have had an update on the JP side of the game that we are finally getting a Master Roshi Dokkan Fest. This guy is going to be the next Dokkan Fest exclusive that comes out on JP. This should come out on Wednesday morning. I was going to say UK time, but even in like Pacific time, it's going to be like 1 AM. So technically it will be Wednesday morning, the 31st, which is funny because that's when part 3 starts for the global anniversary. Very often this happens where stuff just drops on the same days. Yeah, the Roshi Dokkan Fest, as we got the teaser today and all the details on Twitter as well, should be out on Wednesday morning. So part 3 is going to start all the usual global event times, which is 7:30, and then an hour and a half after that, this banner should be coming out. So we're going to take a look at his info here. He has a banner unit Bulma, so we're going to talk about the details, as well as a very interesting new feature for this Roshi, which is his leader skill. I'll probably put that even in the title, because Dokkan trying something different here with a Dokkan Fest exclusive, which could be very interesting for potential releases in the future. So shout out to the Dokkan Wiki for posting all the info. If we take a look at the info here for Roshi, so we can see he has as his leader skill Peppy Gal's 3 key HP attack and defense 200%, or Turtle School or Dragon Ball Saga 170. Peppy Gal's characters excluded, obviously, because, you know, there are some Peppy Gal's characters on the DB Saga category, but they will get the full 200 from the first part of his leader skill. And then the additional 30% to Bond of Master and Disciple or Kamehameha. So, obviously, as a leader skill, this pretty much incorporates most Gokus into the game, right? Because Turtle School and then Kamehameha, or Turtle School and Bond of Master and Disciple, lots of Gokus fit under that. And then DB Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, and Kamehameha is going to have all of the Kid Gokus, Roshi's, Jackie Chan, stuff like that. So very interesting leader skill. But the thing that stands out, of course, is he's got a couple of categories 170 and then a couple of categories plus 30, which is exactly what we would expect from a Dokkan Fest exclusive. But he has a separate category which gets a full 200% leader skill, which is Peppy Gal's. Now, obviously, this is kind of interesting because it means he joins the very few select units in the game that lead a category that he's not actually on, right? So, for example, God Goku, you know, physical God Goku, and the Int LR God Goku have Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans as part of their leader skill, but the unit is obviously not on the Hybrid Saiyans category. Like, if you try to do Hybrid Saiyan Super Battle Road, you can't bring God Goku, but he has a Hybrid Saiyans leader skill, right? So Roshi has a Peppy Gal's leader skill, but is not on the Peppy Gal's category. But more interesting than the choice of category is, of course, the fact that this is now a Dokkan Fest exclusive TUR that has a full 200% to stats leader skill, which so far we have only seen for Carnival LRs. Now, this is really interesting because obviously we're, you know, a good 6 months away at this point, but speculation towards the 10th anniversary has already started, and one of the things people are thinking about is like what a leader skill is going to look like, you know, how long are we going to be in the 200% meta, all that kind of stuff. And this is very, very interesting because it means for future Dokkan Fests, we could see a similar sort of thing where they are getting a category that they give a full 200% leader skill to, which could be really, really good for buffing some of the minor categories. Like we talked about Super Saiyan 2 in the video that's just gone up where we did the Super Saiyan 2 ESBR no items run. And Super Saiyan 2 is a category that needs a lot of help. And even with the leaders that are available at the moment, there's not a lot of crossover for the full 200% lead, because a bunch of these characters are on whole different categories from each other, with the Gohans, Gokus, then like Keflas and Kale and stuff like that. So imagine if we got a new Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the Cell fight potentially, who has Super Saiyan 2 full 200%, and then regardless of what his other leader skills are, like Miraculous Awakening, Hybrid Saiyans, whatever, there's always going to be that, you know, some units are going to get his full 200, some are only going to get the 170, but every Super Saiyan 2 character, regardless of who they are, would get a full 200%. Like, that could be really, really good. So this is really interesting for the future. Let me know your thoughts. I might do a separate video about it. I might even make a tweet about it. Let me know what you guys would like to see with this new kind of leader skill format. But yeah, that's Roshi's leader skill. His super attack is that he raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does immense damage to the enemy. And then he has a unit super. He has 2 unit supers, in fact. The Master and Disciple Kamehameha, where he does a Kamehameha with Kid Goku and Krillin, which raises attack infinitely, greatly raise defense for 1 turn, does immense damage with a high chance to stun. His normal super is just raise attack and defense for 1 turn, immense damage, which is pretty good anyway. But the unit super is an infinite stack to attack, which is really good. And of course the defense raise is higher, and we get the stun chance. So obviously very, very good. Very easy, I guess, depending on the team build, to have a Youth Goku or Krillin. I guess the issue is we really do need like a new Kid Goku. The Path to Power Kid Goku being a bit outdated at this point, but we did recently get the LR Kid Goku, Krillin and Bulma, so that would obviously be good. And then he has a unit super with a ally whose name includes Bulma, which is raises attack, greatly raise defense 1 turn, immense damage, and a great chance to stun. So the unit super is basically the same. The stun chance is higher on the Bulma one. Now, obviously, because it's any ally whose name includes Bulma, this means, like, you know, STR LR Bulma is back now with another great team to be run on, giving that 2-turn support, giving Roshi the unit super attack. So super attacks, definitely interesting. But of course, the bread and butter is his passive. Now, I haven't read any of this before recording, so we shall see. So he has an entrance animation, which gives him 30% damage reduction for 7 turns. There's no restriction on that, so he just gets that all the time, which is good. Attack and defense 150, key +3, damage reduction of 20%. So that means he has 50% for the first 7 turns then. Additional attack and defense 150 when performing a super. Launches an additional super attack when there are 2 or more Turtle School allies in the team. So pretty easy to do that. An additional attack and defense 82% per Peppy Gal's ally attacking in the same turn. Then an additional 82% and high chance to crit when there is an ally whose name includes Bulma attacking in the same turn. And then he gives Turtle School or Peppy Gal's allies 2 key, attack and defense 50%, self-excluded. So if you have a Bulma specifically in the turn, he's getting what, 164% extra attack and 82% defense, as well as then getting the 150 on super, which is obviously then a multiplicative buff, which is good. 50% damage reduction for the first 7 turns. So probably not super great in slot 1, even with the 50% damage reduction, but post supering, his defense should be very, very good. Obviously, as we said, with LR Bulma being on the team, like her getting the extra support from him as well, that should be a very strong rotation, especially if you're getting the orbs for her to get the support, which does apply to her and everyone else on the rotation, and of course the next rotation as well. So he seems decent. Nothing about this is obviously like, you know, nothing about this screams like, oh man, he's the best TUR. But post super, his defense should be decent, and 50% damage reduction, that's not bad. Additional supers are obviously going to raise his defense more, but he gets an additional super guaranteed with the 2 or more Turtle School allies on the team, so that's very easy to do. So he'll be getting the greatly raise ideally from the unit super, and then we'll be doing an additional super as well, so that's interesting. And then he has an active skill, the Turtle School Teachings, recovers 50% HP and all allies 3 key and attack and defense 30% for 1 turn. As we know, active skill buffs are really powerful because they are fully multiplicative, so that 30% is going to do a lot for characters with already good defense. Can be activated starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle when HP is 70% or less, or from the 5th turn, and it's from the start of battle. So even if Roshi's in like slot 7 and then you start slot 7 at 70% or less HP, or sorry, in slot 7 and then you start turn 3 on 70% or less HP, you can use his active skill straight away. So that's kind of cool, especially for short events. And then yeah, the 50% heal is nice, of course, as well. His links, typical, I guess, for what we'd expect from a Roshi. Links like Supreme Warrior and World Tournament Champion are obviously not ideal, although funnily enough, he will link really well with the 23rd World Tournament Goku. So he could see a bit of a resurgence, right? With support and having that guard in the early turns, like that could be very good. He's on full power, DB Saga, Kamehameha, Bond of Master Disciple, Earthlings, Battle of Wits, Turtle School, and Earthbred Fighters. Obviously not Peppy Gals, as we already said. So very interesting, giving him this kind of setup. The leader skill thing is, I think, the most intriguing part for me, with the leading a category for a full 200% and then still having the 170 plus 30 format, I think is really interesting. I think this guy will be not super hype for a lot of people because OG Dragon Ball Saga stuff doesn't really get a lot of hype a lot of the time, but he certainly seems like he could be interesting. Just by reading what he does on paper and not seeing the numbers, I don't think I would say, just a first impression, that he's better than Saiyan Day Vegeta or the Golden Week TURs, but he certainly seems like he could be pretty good. Unfortunately, with a lot of these units, you do have to take into account the team, and Dragon Ball Saga and Peppy Gals are not exactly like top tier categories at the moment. Obviously, Turtle School can do a lot of the heavy lifting with the Goku units, so you could still make a very strong team for him, but I guess we will have to see how he pans out. And then the banner unit he has is a Bulma Super AGL. Her super attack raises attack and defense by 86% for 1 turn and causes supreme damage to the enemy and seals super attacks. She gets attack and defense 150, additional attack and defense 186 when performing a super. She has a high chance to dodge, gets an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super. Gives DB Saga, Earthbred Fighters, or Peppy Gal's allies 1 key, attack and defense 50%. Randomly changes a key sphere of a certain type to Rainbow when there are another 2 or more Earthbred Fighter allies on the team. Obviously, if you're running double Roshi leads, then you'd have that already. Chance of evading enemies' attack, plus 10% before the character receives an attack. So in slot 1, she has a 60% chance to dodge. Interesting that it's only plus 10%. Chance to evade enemies' attacks, including supers, plus 5% with each attack evaded up to 20%. Okay, so if you put her in slot 1, she has 60%. As soon as she dodges like the first attack, it would then be 65 if she's still got attacks before she attacks. Which then means once you get 4 dodges with her, at the start of the turn, if you're putting her in slot 1, she'd have an 80% dodge chance, which is pretty good. And considering she's a support unit, everything about her passive is just support. She's not really going to do crazy damage. You just build her full dodge to build up this last part of her passive as quickly as possible. You could probably get, once her passive is fully built up, fair few turns where she's just not getting hit at all. Because full 80% chance to dodge, being backed up by like 20 odd dodge in the hidden potential system, could certainly be very, very interesting. She does have an unarmed super attack though, apparently, so Rip versus Kid Buu, I guess. And Roshi's is an unarmed for his normal 12 key, but not for either of the unit supers. Kid Buu still remains a thorn in the side of so many of these units. Like, I only just found out from doing the video yesterday for Beast versus Kid Buu that obviously Beast's 18 key super, the non-unit super version, is an unarmed super. So Kid Buu still out here getting in the way of progress for these guys. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. It's an interesting one because Roshi is a character that people have wanted to get a Dokkan Fest for a while. I think the idea of like him just being a DB Saga character and then kind of being given this sort of weird gimmick with the Peppy Gals like lead and everything is certainly interesting, but I'll be very interested to hear what you guys think, especially if you are a Roshi fan or somebody who's been very much looking forward to him getting a Dokkan Fest. Do you think they did him justice? As I say, the leader skill format is something very interesting for the future. Let me know what you'd like to see out of this new potential leader skill format, and maybe I'll make a separate video about it. But there certainly are a lot of potential options, and I think this could be very, very interesting. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.